How about the New Jersey Devils? One of the more interesting teams to discuss. Tied for the third best odds to win the Stanley Cup at plus 1,100. They're tied with the Avalanche and the Stars behind the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. This is a team that basically is, or I'll say this season is, to use video game speak, the next game after rage quitting. Isn't it?
It's, yeah.
Did I get myself back with the trying to do the like, oh, we're doing video game talk?
Yeah. Okay.
Isn't that what this feels like for this team? Where it's like, I don't know what the fuck that was.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to do it. They've got
they bought a new controller, which is their coach.
Sean's giving a little nod. He's like, all right, you got it back.
I have this to me all the time, when especially a bunch with college football recently, where I'm just like, we'll try this again tomorrow.
Yes. Super sim to end. Let's take a break. We'll come back tomorrow.
Yep.
I was so in my head after botching the fuck, I don't know that must be a video game term. And then realizing it's just a term that, I don't know, maybe I hadn't heard around here a lot. And now we're back with video game talk. But yes, they were such a disappointment last year and probably doing the thing when you rage quit of like, fuck all this. They experienced a mess behind the bench, we'll say. They fired their head coach, Lindy Ruff, finished the season with Travis Green as their head coach. They go and they get Sheldon Keefe. They also had very little Dougie Hamilton last year, which was a huge loss for them. Jack Hughes was hurt. They didn't have goaltending. And
didn't they? Saying that they didn't have goaltending is underselling it. They had... Speaking to this isn't necessarily a video game term, but throwing. Their goaltenders were throwing
quite literally, playing the puck halfway across the other side of the red line.
See, fuck, I was gonna say no. Give me all the video game terms I'm learning here, but I actually didn't know what that means in context. Throwing just means throwing
a game. No, like throwing games.
Like you're
trying to lose,
basically.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, Akira Schmid that one time in Columbus when he played the puck over the red line during a delayed penalty.
Looked like he was trying to throw.
If you could bank on two things from the New Jersey Devils last year, it's number one, that they were going to be down 1-0 within like the first 10 minutes of a game. And two, their goaltending was going to be fucking ass. Okay. That's basically it.
Famously, we did a 24-hour trade deadline stream and the Devils got Jake Allen. And I was so underwhelmed. You were into it. I was like, that's fucking it. That's your goaltending situation? Oh, my God. What are you guys throwing? Are you trying to make the playoffs or are you out here throwing? And now, after finally getting Jacob Markstrom, after that being rumored for 20-plus years, now Jake Allen is their backup goalie?
They're in a great spot.
I'm into it.
Yeah, so that's the thing. That's what I said at the trade deadline last year. I was like, all right, it's something. They got something. Jake Allen had another year of control when they traded for him. They didn't give up a whole lot for him. And assuming that they were going to get something else done over the offseason, having a brand new tandem now with Markstrom and Allen, really solid. Hey, thanks for watching the channel.
We appreciate everybody who checks out our stuff, but 80% of our viewers are not actually subscribed to this page, so if you could smash that subscribe button, it would go a very long way for us.
The more subscriptions we have, the more visibility we get from YouTube, which allows us to do more.
So press that button. Thank you. Okay, so among the reasons why we should feel really good about the Devils, despite them, again, they finished second to last in the Metro last year.
They did not make the playoffs last year in the Eastern Conference, where teams were like just trying to give away playoff
I will
spots.
even say they deeply did not make the playoffs.
Full disclosure, when I popped this graphic up, I double-checked because I thought I had forgotten to update the information on it from another graphic, because I was like, there's no way the Devils finished.
They were
seventh in the
division. The only team worse than them in the Metro was the Columbus Blue Jackets, who
we saw play each other.
What's that?
Who we saw play each other.
That's right. And who'd have thought? I mean, when we watched those teams play, we were like, the Devils are so much better. And they should have been better.
That was the infamous game where I bet the parlay on Jack Hughes to score a goal and to have four shots on net. And then he had a hat trick with 3 shots on goal. I was so mad.
That was incredible. So reasons to like them, despite how fucking terrible they were last year, is they have a coach who we like. We're all pulling for Sheldon Keefe, who is got to be the Jack Adams favorite, right? I don't know if he is, but
Yeah, I mean,
that's going to be such an unfair Jack Adams win if they go out and they win the Metro, and it's like, well,
yeah, because like the whole energy around the Devils this year is like, well, that shit's not going to happen again, right?
it's the post
Sheldon
rage
Keefe
quit
is
life.
indeed the favorite.
He's what?
He is indeed the favorite.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Hamilton back after having surgery on that torn pectoral muscle. I mentioned the changing of the coach. Brett Pesce re-enters this conversation because they signed him, which was one of my favorite signings of the offseason. So they are way better on the back end after they allowed so many goals last year. They were 26th in the league in goals against. Their goaltending is way upgraded. Their defense, from what it was last year, is heavily upgraded.
Brendan Smith is gone.
Brennan Smith is gone. And even on the back end, second year of Simone Nemitz.
Yeah, well, like that's part of the reason why Lindy needed to go. Like he probably needed to go mid-season. They just didn't give Nemitz enough of a chance. I think he's going to be a hell of a player.
I'm always cool with not giving rookie defensemen a super huge chance, depending on like how old they are.
But given what else they were trotting out there instead of him, like at least give the young guy who has shown flashes a chance to settle in.
Yeah, I agree with that. Old coaches aren't going to do that. If they think that they might not make the playoffs, they're going to go with guys who they trust and know the system and everything, instead of thinking like, should I really trust this guy?
How did it work for Lindy?
Yeah,
it ended up in the same position.
It often doesn't, but
Yeah.
coaches will always go with if two guys are making a similar impact or even one old guy is worse, I'm going with the old guy because he's not going to make as many mistakes. And it's like, well, if he's old and he's bad, he doesn't need to make mistakes. He's just bad, even if he's not making mistakes. So
He's playing his game.
yeah, right. Like he's just going out and he's not screwing anything up, but guys are still skating around him because he's not good.
You can feel better about yourself because you expected the bad thing.
I guess that's kind of what old coaches do, but we'll see what Sheldon Keefe does now. We're pulling for him. And do you think that they are maybe overhyped?
So I think that's the discussion around the Devils this year is did the market and did people's expectations overcorrect? Like that.
They were like that at the end of last season when this team was ass and finishing 7th. It was like, well, next year this isn't going to happen again. Like, so when you're talking about the Rangers and all these things, like, hey, next year you're going to have to deal with the Devils. And it's like, you got to deal with these motherfuckers who are finishing 7th. So I wonder if we do, like, I rate them super, super highly, but I wonder if a moment will come where we're like, we got carried away.
I don't think so, though, because when you look at what this team did, like they got Jacob Markstrom, who is a very good goaltender.
Yes.
Jake Allen is a very good backup, even at this stage of his career. They're getting back one of the best defensemen in all of hockey. They improved immensely on the back end, even with Pesce and Dillon. Like Nemitz, if he takes a step forward, their defense is going to be incredible. Like you look at their top 6, it's fucking unbelievable. Even like the ad of Stefan Nason, like on the bottom 6, there's every reason to buy into this team.
So Nason, I had to look what the contract was, but he was a guy that was like some team that's knocking on the door is going to want to get him and put him in their bottom 6. And the Devils getting him, I was like, that's such a tiny bit of work
makes
for
so
their
much sense.
situation.
Yeah.
Like I thought that maybe the Rangers would do it after. We'll talk about the whole Barclay Goodrow thing in a second, but they get Sam Carrick instead. Like teams that really want to have that bottom 6 presence guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's Nason.
Yeah, but Nason is like the higher end bottom 6 presence guy.
Right. He's like for a while, what's this guy going to be sort of player who has settled into higher end bottom 6.
He makes you better rather than just filling a hole.
Yeah.
So I really like this team. I want to be the guy who's like, all right, let's pump the brakes on the Devils, slow up with the overcorrection. I've already placed a bet that the Devils are going to win the President's Trophy this year.
Okay, so the Devils are just, and we can maybe at some point make a chart or a list or whatever. They just are one of those teams that is surrounded by hyperbole. We talked about the Lightning in the Atlantic preview. There's a lot of hyperbole going on around them. Devils, hyperbole positive. Lightning, hyperbole negative. I'm just on hyperbole watch for some of these teams. And I think the Devils are going to be fucking awesome. But because we are throwing around so many platitudes, I'm just a little wary. Sean, you're kind of making a face.
I'm just rooting. I'm rooting for Sheldon Keefe because I am famously not a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs. But that said, I'm kind of rooting for the Maple Leafs to win their division. And then the New Jersey Devils, wild card 1. Devils, Sheldon Keefe versus the Maple Leafs in round 1 of the playoffs has Maple Leaf sadness written all over it again.
Yeah, like from a sadness perspective, that would be funny.
Yeah, I don't
but
think
it's way more realistic that it happens the other way around, where the Devils win the Metro and the Leafs get the wild card.
Because then it's a year of talking about that shit. As the Devils are looking great with Sheldon Keefe, the Leafs, when they're freaking out, asking, "Are we even going to make the playoffs?" They're saying, "Could have had this guy. Look what he's doing out there."
So you really think there's a better chance that the Maple Leafs finish 4th in their division?
100%.
Great question.
100%.
It's a great
The
topic.
Devils.
I think it's more likely that the Devils win the Metro than the Leafs win the Atlantic. Although I think that both are very plausible.
Who in the Metro? What 3 teams? At least 3 teams are going to
easy.
finish ahead of the Devils.
I mean, I think the Rangers and the Hurricanes most certainly can.
Mm-hmm.
Should probably. And then, I mean,
Who's the third?
I'm not answering that question. We're not shooting our wad.
Well, yeah, I guess
we can leave it up.
Could
for
it be?
There's much. It's much easier to find 3 teams in the Atlantic. Than
all
it
I'm
is in the
saying
Metro.
is that there is a team that was really good for a lot of the year in that division that just missed the
Are you
playoffs.
saying the Philadelphia Flyers?
Well, okay. Well, this is end of the.
Yeah,
this is end of the
I was
preview
teasing
talk.
it. I was teasing it.
Okay.
Okay. Nice little tease.
We all silly like the mayor.